while whispering, we're sharing space here today. But listen, this is going to be a good one. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our reading, guys. The Business School second edition for people who love helping people. This is a good one here. Chapter number 5, value number 3, friends who will pull you up and not push you down. Guys, this is going to be long. I can almost break this up into 2 sessions, but I'm going to try to get it all done in one because I want to keep it uniform. But how's everyone doing? How's the other reads going? If you are jumping in on this video, chapter 5, I strongly encourage you to go back and read the prior chapters. They're very, very good. But hey, I probably should take off this hot sweater, but we're going to make it through. All right. So here's the deal. Value number 3, friends who will pull you up and not push you down. Guys, we're all about reading. Personal development is everything. As you grow, your income grows. As you grow and change, your environment changes. And we're going to grow together in 2023. I appreciate you guys being a part of this journey with me. I'm getting outside of my comfort zone. I really am not one who likes to do videos, but I'm overcoming it. I'm pushing forward. I'm committed to the process, and I encourage you to join me on this journey. Thank you. Thank you. Subscribe below if you will, and like and share. Give me comments. Give me feedback. I welcome it all. All right. So my one other thing real quick before we jump in, I'm not here to read verbatim every chapter. I jump around and pull out things that jump out at me. I encourage you to get the book, order it, fill up and create your library, guys. You gotta have books. Leaders are readers. Entrepreneurs, rich people have big libraries. Poor people have big TVs. So we want to switch this thing up. Let's jump right into it. What will my friends say? How many of you heard that before? How many of you thought that before? What will my friends say is a question or concern I've heard many times while attending the educational seminars put on by network marketing companies. I'm going to read this story here. They're thinking I'm crazy is another often heard concern. This is a cool story. We're going to get into the meat and the potatoes. For many people, even though the business opportunity made sense and they want to make changes in their financial lives, one of the biggest hurdles is of all was what their friends and family would think of them starting a network marketing business. Is so true. One evening, there was a single mom standing in front of a group of about 30 guests who came to hear about a business opportunity she found in network marketing. The single mom was telling everyone about how her husband left, leaving her with the job of raising 4 children on her own. Rather than going on welfare, this brave young woman or mother told the group about how she started network marketing and was today earning over $60,000 part-time. She refused to be on welfare. She raised her children full-time while making $60,000 part-time. She told the group that the business had given her security, hope, control of her life, and most importantly, time with her kids. In closing, she said, on top of that, in the next 10 years, I'll be a millionaire because the business continues to grow. I could never have done that if I have kept my old job. I could have never have done that without the support of the people in this business. That's the beauty of network marketing. People miss that. Man, people miss that. For her, the money was not the most important thing. For her, the business had given her life back. She could once again dream dreams she had dared not dream for years. In a question and answer period, she said, I can provide the college education for my kids, and they will not need to take care of me when I'm older. I will not be a burden on them. That is such a relief. That is such a peace of mind. As the evening broke up and I thanked the person who was in the business who invited me, walking out the door, I was asked about by the young male business executive who was also a guest. What did I think? Pardon my reading there. I thought it was a great presentation, I replied. Yes, it was, but it sounds too good to be true, he said, as I searched for the keys for my briefcase. Why do you invest a little time and find out if it is true? Please bear with me. My eyes are reading faster than my mouth. Why don't you invest a little time and find out if it's true? I suggested. It might be just what you're looking for. No, I couldn't do that. Do you know what my friends back at the office would think of me? If I told them I was starting a network marketing business, they laughed their heads off. You know how guys are. Nodding, I smiled and replied, yes, I know how guys are. He climbed in his car. I climbed in mine. He drove off into the night. Ladies and gentlemen, let's jump into this. This is heavy. So for me, the hardest part of leaving a secure job and starting a business was dealing with what my friends, family, and coworkers would have said or thought. For me, that was the hardest job of all. And then it goes into a chapter or a portion here where it says, the change of quadrants, not the change of jobs. If you read the book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, he also, his second book was Cash Flow Quadrants. And of course, I was looking for that book. Let me show you guys real quick, one of my libraries here. I have quite a few of Robert Kiyosaki's books. But one of the books that I had, but I can't find, is Cash Flow Quadrants. So chances are I allowed someone to borrow it, and it never came back. I'll pick that up. But Cash Flow Quadrants was an excellent book, guys. But this book says a change of quadrants, not a change of jobs. How many times have you heard people say something in the following statements? I wish I could quit my job. I'm tired of going from job to job. I wish I could make more money, but I can't afford to quit and start all over with a new job. And I don't want to go back to school and learn a new profession. Every time I get pay raise, most of my raise is eaten up by taxes. I just heard that a couple of weeks ago. I'm working hard, but the only people who are getting rich are the owners of the company. I'm working hard, but I'm not getting ahead financially. I've got to start thinking about retirement. I'm afraid of technology, of the younger worker will make me obsolete. I can't keep working this hard. I'm getting too old for this. How many of us heard this stuff? I went to a dental school to be a dentist, but I don't want to be a dentist anymore. Ooh, how many of us heard this before? These are often statements made by individuals trapped in one of the quadrants of the cash flow quadrant. These are comments often made by people ready to change quadrants. Unfortunately, rather than changing quadrants, they just change jobs. What do you mean by that? What is a cash flow quadrant? Guys, my second book in Rich Dad Poor Dad series, Cash Flow Quadrant, many people say is one of the most important books, especially for people who are ready to make change in their lives, a change far greater than simply going from job to job. This is what a cash flow quadrant looks like. You have the B quadrant, the E quadrant, S quadrant, B quadrant, and I quadrant. E stands for the employee, S stands for the self-employed small business owner, B stands for the business owner, and I stands for the investor. How do you know which quadrant you're in? Let's get into this. This is good. How much time? Oh, wow, time is flying. This might go a little longer. Stay with me, guys. How do you know which quadrant you are in? The way you know which quadrant you are in is simply from which quadrant you're cash flowing. For example, if you receive your income from a job and you receive a regular check from a company or business you do not own, then your cash flow out of the E quadrant. If you receive a bulk of your money from an investment, then you are an investor and a person from the I quadrant. If you are a small business owner, a specialist such as a doctor, a lawyer, a commission only person such as a real estate agent, then you are probably in the S quadrant. In addition, if you own a business, a company or business that employs over, this is what you got to get, 500 people, then you are in the B quadrant. That's key because a lot of people think they're in business, but you're really not. You're self employed. Understand this. As you become a business owner, you have systems, either you're employing people or you're hiring and training people. And it's usually 500 or more people when you have a real business. Don't get offended. It's the truth. All right, different quadrants, different values. Years ago, Rich Dad explained to me that different quadrants had different values. For example, even though a person is in the E quadrant, can be a janitor or a president of the company, they are united by the same set of core values. Wow. A person in the E quadrant, regardless if they are a janitor or president, often thinks or say words such as, I am looking for a safe, secure job with benefits, or how much do we get for our overtime, or how many paid holidays do we have. In other words, security is the very important core value for some in the E quadrant. Folks in the S quadrant values, for people in the S quadrant core values is independence. They want their freedom and do whatever they want. When a person says, I'm going to quit my job and go out on my own, they're often heading from the E quadrant to the S quadrant. People found in the S quadrant are small business owners, mom and pop businesses, specialists, consultants. For example, I have a friend who installs big screen televisions, phone systems, and security systems for rich people homes. He has a staff of about 3 and is happy to be the boss of just 3 people. He is a hardcore, hardworking S. Commission salespeople, such as real estate insurance brokers, are in the S quadrant. The S quadrant is also filled with professionals such as doctors, lawyers, accountants, but do not belong to large medical, legal, or accounting firms. Let's get into it. The way you know a person is in the S quadrant, again, is by the words they speak out their mouths and the way they think. A S quadrant person will often say, if you want something done right, do it yourself. Or, I have the best products. If they had a theme song, it would be Nobody Does It Better. At the core of a S behind a facet of independence is often a lack of trust of other people. Wow, that's heavy. Trust that someone can do it better than they can. The way an S gets paid is often by commissions or by an amount time they spend on a job. For example, an S may be heard saying words such as, my commission is 6% of the total price, or I charge $100 an hour, or my fee is cost plus 10%. A S quadrant person is a John Wayne of business. You can hear them saying, I'm going to do it on my own. That's the S quadrant. Now, a B quadrant, this is good. Where do you sit? A B quadrant, people who start from nothing and build great B quadrant businesses are often people with powerful life missions, values, and great teams of efficient teamwork, and want to serve and work with as many people as possible. Earlier in this book, I mentioned Thomas Edison, founder of General Electric, Henry Ford, founder of Ford Motor, Bill Gates, founder of Microsoft, all whom are Bs. While a person in the S quadrant wants to be the best in their field, a B quadrant person, listen to this, often is looking for other people who are the best in their fields to join his or her team. I'm gonna let that sit. Understand this. Henry Ford surrounded himself with people smarter than he was. An S quadrant business person is often the smartest person on a small team, for example, a doctor or a consultant. When it comes to being paid, a true B quadrant person can leave his or her business and still get paid. In most cases, if someone in an S quadrant stops working, their income stops as well. Therefore, a question you may want to ask yourself: if I stop working today, how much income continues to come in? If your income stops in 6 months or less, then chances are you are in the E or S quadrant. Whoa. A person in a B or I quadrant can stop working for years and the money will continue to come in. That's awesome. I quadrant, get the book, Cash Flow Quadrant, guys. A very strong book. Rich Dad Poor Dad was a good book. It opened me up. But Cash Flow Quadrant, oh man, it put everything in perspective and gave me the goals of getting on the right side of the quadrant. I quadrant values the investor. An I quadrant value financial freedom. An investor loves the idea of their money working instead of them working. Investors invest in many things. They may invest in gold, coins, real estate, businesses, and paper assets such as stocks, bonds, mutual funds, today crypto. If your income comes from companies or government retirement plans rather than your own personal investment knowledge, then that is income from the E quadrant. In other words, your boss or a business is still paying its bills for your years of service. Words of investors might be heard saying, I'm receiving a 20% return on my assets, or show me the company financials, or how much deferred maintenance is in this property. That's an investor. Different quadrants, different investors. In today's world, we all need the investor. However, our school systems do not teach us much about investing. Oh, I know that some schools teach stock picking, but to me, that is not investing. To me, picking stocks is gambling, not investing. Years ago, Rich Dad pointed out to me that the most employees invest in mutual funds and savings. He also said doctors are often the worst investors. He also said just because you're successful in one quadrant, such as the E and the S or B, does not mean you will be successful in the I quadrant. That's something to be mindful of. Let me jump over here. A network marketing business is a B quadrant business. Network marketing is for people who want to enter the world of the B quadrant. Why is it a B quadrant business, you may be asking? Well, the answer is because a network marketing business system is designed to expand to well over 500 people. Also, in the income potential in a network marketing business is the theory unlimited, while the income potential for an E and S quadrant are often limited to how much you as an individual can produce. In network marketing business is you can earn as much as your network can earn. If you build a big network, you can earn a massive amount of money. After you have built a large network marketing business, the next step is to move from the B quadrant to the I quadrant. At least that is what my rich dad recommends I do. And that is what I did. My fellow salespersons who scoffed at me by leaving Xerox and starting my own business are still salespersons today. They never changed their mindset, their scores, their core values, and hence they have never changed their quadrant. Today, I know some of them are worried about losing their jobs, and a few of them do not have enough money to retire. In other words, they spent their too much time in the E and the S quadrant. For the sake of time, guys, I'm going to end it here. This is a good one. I'm not even going to get the book, get the chapters. What do you want to be when you grow up? That's good. I'm going to read some of the titles here inside this chapter. A change of quadrant means a change of values and friends. Man, that's good. Which quadrant is your friend? Are your friends in? Changing from one quadrant to another is a change of core values. Uh, Man, I want to read this. I want to keep this within that 15 minutes. I'm way over. Um, I got to read this. Bear with me on this one. First one I want to read is a change of quadrants mean a change of friends. And then I want to go into a 5-year plan because I'm all about the 5-year plan. One of the advantages of network marketing business is that the business is filled with new people, some of which may become your new best friends. For me, the hardest part of leaving Xerox was that most of my friends and family were in the E quadrant. They had different values than I did. They valued security and steady paychecks, and I valued freedom and financial independence. There's a conflict. If you are considering making a change of quadrants and are considering a network marketing business, you have a tremendous advantage over me. At least a network marketing business provides a large support group of like-minded people, people with the same core values and values of the B quadrant to assist you while you make that transition. All I had was my rich dad and his son to encourage me. This is Robert Kiyosaki talking. Everyone else thought I was crazy, and maybe I was. However, to stay at Xerox Corporation was just because I needed job security, and a steady paycheck was not enough of a reason for me to stay. The friends I left behind at Xerox are still great friends. They will always be great friends because they were there for me at the transition phase of my life. However, for me, it was time to move on. If it is time for you to move on and the B quadrant is calling you, you may want to join network marketing and begin to meet new friends. And I want to read the what time frame? Okay, 5-year goal, a 5-year plan. I want to set this up. In addition, who knows if you are patient and do a good job explaining the changes you are going through, they might just join you for the journey. Just let them know that the journey is a process, not a get rich quick scheme, and the journey may take years. If you are serious, I recommend a 5-year plan. What is a 5-year plan? I often ask, why a 5-year plan? The following are my reasons. Reason number one, it took years for Starbucks to be built. It took years for McDonald's to be built. It was years before Sony became an entertainment giant. In other words, it takes years to build great companies and great business leaders. Most people do not think in terms of years. Most people think in terms of immediate gratification and getting rich quick. That is why there are so few people in the B quadrant. Most people want money but are unwilling to invest their time. As I stated earlier, learning is a physical process. A physical learning sometimes takes longer than a mental learning. For example, you may decide to learn to ride a bicycle, but the physical learning process may take longer than the mental decision to learn to ride a bicycle. Reason number two, on the other side, unlearning is also a physical process. There's a statement that goes, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, thankfully, we are humans and not dogs. Yet, there is some truth to the idea that the older we get, it is sometimes harder to unlearn things we have spent years doing or learning. One of the reasons so many people feel more comfortable in an E and S quadrant is because they feel comfortable and secure there. After all, they spent years learning how to be there. So many people return there because it is comfortable, even though that comfort is not good for them at the end. Number three, why we have a 5-year plan. All caterpillars make a cocoon before becoming butterflies. Flight school was my cocoon. I entered flight school as a college graduate and exited flight as a flight school, a pilot ready to go to war in Vietnam. if I had gone to a civilization flight school, I doubt if I would be able to be ready for war. What we have learned in the military pilots is different than what we've learned as civilian pilots. The skills are different and intensities of training is different. It took me nearly 2 years to get through basic flight school in Florida. Blah, 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 blah. That's a lot of words there. So those are reasons in terms of a 5-year plan. Good book. That's the end of that chapter. Let's wrap this up. We're at 25 minutes. Next read, value number 4. What is the value of a network? Rich people build networks. Poor people look for work. Make sure you click on the video above to get to this next video recording. Like and share, subscribe, guys. Let's go.